everyone, I wanted to show you this tip. It's a time-saving tip that you may find useful when you're doing Google Forms. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to create a generic multiple choice Google form that you're going to use instead of every time you need a multiple choice form. You're going to create a generic one that you're going to use and just copy when you need it. Okay, so the quickest way to get to forms is through the app, the Google app icon, and then go down to form, and your Google form homepage is going to open up. Once your Google form homepage opens up, I want you to click and open a blank Google form. And here comes the blank Google form. So the first thing we're going to do is label that Google form, and I'm going to call it generic form, and I'm going to call it, generic multiple choice form, and I'm going to put 10 questions. I'm going to put 10 questions on this. All right, so that's the name of my form at this point. So once I go into my Google form homepage, I know what I'm looking for. I'm going to double click up here so that the name is saved as a title. All right. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change the settings. And I always try to do that first because I don't want to forget it after I've done. So I want to collect email. I want to restrict it. I want to limit the response. We've done this in another video, so I don't really need to go through this presentation. I always like to show progress bar, and I want to make this a quiz, and I want to do it later. So those are the settings that I like personally. All right, so here's the multiple choice generic form that we're creating. Now, what is the purpose of this? So, sometimes we have students that we give them a worksheet, we give them some work in the book, and they have a multiple choice PDF, a multiple choice question in their book where they already have, let us say, a reading comprehension. They already have it, and it has 10 questions, A, B, C, and D. Now, for that, I really don't want to write up all the questions because they already have the questions in a book or on a sheet in front of them. I just want them to put in the answers, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to write question number 1. So I just write question 1, and I'm not going to write out the question because remember, the students have the questions in front of them, all right? I'm going to make sure this says multiple choice, and then I'm going to go around to option 1, and I'm going to say A. And if you look, add all B, C, D, I can just quickly click add all, and all of them will be put in A, B, C, D. If you want to put E, if that's what you usually have, then you can just add option here. All right, then I'm going to click on the answer key, and I'm going to change the points to 1 because I know I'm giving 1 point most of the time for multiple choice. Then I click done, and then I'm also going to click required. So what I have here is 1 multiple choice question for question 1. Now here's what I do. I just click duplicate, and you notice a duplicate of that question comes up. I go like this. And I am now going to change this from being question 1 to question 2. Everything, the points, everything is already done. I duplicate again, and I go and I change to question 3, right? And I duplicate as many times as I want. Since I'm doing this, I'm going to show you something. If you happen to have all of this, when you duplicate it, all of it is highlighted. But let us say I accidentally touched a key and it is gone. Don't start to panic. If you notice, there's really no undo button here, but there's that magic button called Control Z. And if you press Control Z, that is the undo. So just press Control Z, and that will fix. So we have question 3, and we have back, and we have now have question 4. So I go on till 10 questions. I don't need to show you that. So now what I have is a multiple choice form that has 10 questions with A, B, C, and D. All right. And then what I will do, so I have this now saved. Remember, I don't have to click save because it's already saved. So now what I will do now is I am now giving this multiple choice worksheet, or they're looking in their book on this thing that's multiple choice. All I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me back out. So let's go back to form. So this is 2 days later, 3 days later, whatever it is, right? And I go to the forms homepage and I go looking for that form because I know I have 10 questions. I just click on the form. There it is. I just click on the form. When the form comes up, I am going to go back to this little skinny snowman over here, click on it. And I'm going to, hold on, it's still loading. And then I'm going to make a copy. So I now make a copy and I call it by its new name. So I'm going to say that this was language, this was the nanny comprehension passage, right? So I have a nanny comprehension passage and I'm going to say, okay. If you notice it's renamed here, I'll just have to change the name here as well. You understand. I don't need to do, you understand it. And then now you have these questions already. All you'll have to do now is click, go in and put the answer. So I know for question 1, the answer was D, done. And then I go to question 2 and the answer was A, and I click answer key and the answer was A. And I go in and I put the answers. Now I quickly have a Google form that is going to mark that comprehension 10 questions really quickly. It is much quicker than trying to go through and do it every time. So this is a tip that you can use to make your life easier. Bye everybody. Each one teach one.